Welcome and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch. I'm your own personal sales maven here to offer you tips and strategies and techniques to master your sales conversation. Today's episode is one of our Mastering Excellence series. This is where I interview somebody who is achieving exceptional results in certain area of her life and or business, and we dig into her structure. This comes from my background in neurolinguistic programming, where we learn that there is a structure to excellence. And when you understand somebody's structure, what's their process for achieving these exceptional results, you can apply that same structure to this same area of your life or business so that you can also achieve exceptional results. And oh my gosh, am I so excited to share about today's guest. My guest today is Rosemary Lewis. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Rosemary. She's a coach, she's an author, and she's a real estate broker, passionate about helping women step into their God-given gifts with courage and confidence. She's a former elementary school teacher turned entrepreneur. She believes faith is the foundation of success and growth comes from serving others well. Rosemary is the team lead at RL Realty Group based in Dallas, Texas, and the creator of the Real Estate Besties, where she blends practical strategy with faith-filled encouragement. Recognized by D Magazine and Real Producers, her personal mantra is simple: love God, love the besties, and serve them well. Rosemary Lewis, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Nikki, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so delighted that you said yes to this. So I always like to give people a little bit of context about how we know each other and how we met. Rosemary and I were in a coaching program, and we met in Austin, Texas. I think it was the beginning, very beginning of 2024. Does that
Yep,
sound right to you?
yep.
Okay. So we were attending a retreat. It was a couple-day retreat. And Rosemary was there with her brilliant right hand person. And I got to meet them and connect with them. And I just really kind of fell in love with you guys. And then got to do some work with you with, a program that we're going to talk about it, but your client experience that you were
Yep.
putting on. And then you invited me to be a speaker this last year. And so I just came back from speaking at your event, high as could be from going to an event that I will say there's only one other event that I can even compare this to where I just felt like you went above and beyond to just make people feel loved and appreciated and special. And I just was like, I mean, I already was a huge fan, but
Aw.
after seeing the way you interact with your clients, the way you interact with the people who showed up for you, your team, I was like, she's got it.
Aw.
She's got the thing that makes her extra special.
Aw, thank you. That means so much to me. And I remember when Kimberly, my right hand, and I met you in Austin, you were so sweet and so, just so wonderful. And then you presented though. And I was like, oh, she's a baddie. Like I was like, oh my gosh. And I think at the time when we met you, we were going to do our first event.
Mhm.
So I didn't even have the courage or the kahunas to even approach you about speaking, but we made a dream list for the following year and you topped the list. So I am so grateful that you were there.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I had such an amazing experience and I met just so many incredible women at the Real Estate Bestie Experience is what it's called,
Yep.
conference. It was just so phenomenal. And I mean, not surprising because of who you are, but you just attract just really beautiful, wonderful, smart,
Yeah.
like go get it kind of women. Oh, it was really fantastic.
Yeah. It was God exceeded every expectation. So it was great.
It was really fantastic. And you said something, I think it was the first morning when you were up on stage, and maybe you had said it to me and Tara separately, but I know you said it when you were up on stage. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but it was something about like you had set a pretty specific goal and you told your team that if you walk out of here without having done this with every single person in the room, do you know what where I'm going?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that set the stage and that was such a great this this is really how it felt. This is how it went. It was so great. So will you share that?
Yeah, so I was telling our team and all of the volunteers, which is our team, our extended team, in our volunteer meetings, a lot of the ladies that come to the conference, like they don't know me yet. They have interacted with me on YouTube or through my podcast. And I was like, listen, I want to make sure that you tell them, like, hey, have you met Rosemary yet? Like, I'm going to bring you to her to connect with her. I wanted to hug, touch, and see every person so that they knew that like Rosemary is a person just like me. You know, sometimes you go to these places and the people on stage seem invincible, untouchable, and that like we all are on the same playing field. So
Hmm.
I was just very intentional. And then I also told them if I'm the only person that you leave here knowing, um, then what a detriment that would be because there's so many amazing people in the room. So don't make it about Rosemary. I want to make sure that you leave here knowing me and we are connected. But if I'm the only connection that you made over the next 3 days, boy oh boy, did you waste your time because there's so many amazing women here.
Yeah. And again, that was just the overall kind of feel of everything and the way it went. And I know it was even like, I think it was the first day, maybe after lunch, that people were already like doing business together.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like,
Yes.
yes, I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
It was so exciting to know that people were making these connections that had never met before. And they
Yeah.
were already like referring clients to each other. It was so exciting.
Yeah, it one activity that we did, I don't know if you were in there and you heard it, but we had everybody bring 3 business cards and they didn't know what the business cards were for, but then we put them all face down on the table and after lunch you had to go and grab 3 business cards and over the next day and a half, it was your job to go and find the person. So in our mind, everybody would at least have 3 connections, 3 people looking for you and you looking for 3 different people. And it again, the name of our group is Real Estate Bestie. So we wanted to embody those best friend vibes. Like you're not going to be waited to be invited to lunch or, invited to the table. We invited them to participate and, ways for people to get them involved. So it was great. It was
It
absolutely great.
it was so great. I really am going to get to the questions, but even like there was this other thing that you did that just felt so special is that you do a call out and people call back with
Oh,
like
yes.
and so like this was a first for me because I hadn't been to any of your events before, and so just to hear you do it and to hear people call back to you. But then I was like coming out of a stall at the bathroom and a woman walked by me. She did it to me and I was like, I love this so much. Like they do this to each other. Like this is a thing. So will you share what you do there
Yeah,
too?
it's right behind me.
Yeah, I
Hey,
know.
bestie.
Yep, just like
So,
that.
yeah,
Hey,
so
bestie.
Yeah, so when you see someone, or I don't have to know your name, but I know you're a bestie. So, hey, bestie. And I would like tell them, like, now you can do better than that. Don't just say it all lazy. And it has become a movement.
Yes.
And I just love that. And what I found is that, we need people. Relationships are the real currency.
Mhm.
And it was amazing to me how many people really didn't have those relationships, whether they were girlfriend relationships or marriages or strong familial relationships. So just to have a safe space for a woman to not only grow her business, but grow her faith and grow in relationship, we want to create that. So yeah, it's always, hey, bestie, best friend vibes only.
Yes. And it just felt that way. It was so special, so so special. Okay, so I get quote like coaching questions often about people that are putting on events and having, wanting to have client experiences. And so that's really what I wanted to dig in with you today is this idea of like the secret to designing those client experiences that keep people wanting to come back.
Hmm.
And so my first question always around my very NLP question is if I got to step in for you for a day, like if I got to step into your shoes and just like be Rosemary for the day, what would I have to think or do or behave, however you take this, to really show up from this place of and again, thinking about designing a client experience that really does keep people wanting to come back again and again.
Yeah. I think that you start thinking about the person who's going to be in the room and thinking about some of what might be her fears or her apprehensions, or what does she have to do to get here, and how from the very moment that she steps into the door, I want her to be like, okay, it was worth it, right? It was worth the childcare. It was worth, moving things around. It was worth not knowing what to wear, but decided I'm gonna come anyway. So really putting yourself into the mindset of the person and really thinking through what what's going through her mind, and what, even from the colors to how someone greets her, like what is going to feel ultra welcoming for her, where we can create an environment where she can get to know a new version of herself.
Mm, so good. I love this idea of that you really are taking into consideration the other person. I
Hmm.
think a lot of times in sales, in life, we are so caught up in, well, what are they going to think about me? And, how am I coming across? And we forget to think about what's it like for the other person to be engaged
Yep.
with me? What's it like for that person? And what you said, which I think is also like taking it to a whole, like more impactful level, is like, what did it take for her to get there?
Yep.
What are her fears? What are the things that could potentially keep her from having a great experience? What can you do to like make that better and or really just appreciate what she had to do to get there?
Hmm. Hmm. No,
I love that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that so much. Okay. So, here's my next question. When you're thinking about designing your client experience, what were your goals or what are the goals?
So, I, first of all, just a place where everyone feels included. I have been to conferences before where it felt, like there was good information, but I kind of left feeling worse about myself because I didn't fit the mold, or my mindset wasn't quite evolved to what they were saying yet, or maybe even if the chair's just uncomfortable, right? So I like to think through, like, what is going to make her feel like, okay, I'm in the right room. And I want to start from there, but also being really clear on who's going to be in the room. So from the programming aspect, I don't want to just put a lot of speakers in front of them or give content that is really not going to serve. So how are we going to not only deliver something that's beautiful and inclusive, but also something that you will be able to take this information that you learned here today and go out, use it, and win. So those are the things that I think about.
Ooh, I love this. This idea, one, that it's inclusive. I think that is something that always needs to be taken into consideration. But how are you going to take this information and use it and win?
Yep.
That, again, not just use it, but use it and win.
Yep.
That is a difference maker. These are the things that really make you shine and make you special. Because I think you think at least one step, if not more, ahead and deeper than most. And this
Oh.
is why I want to have this conversation with you. Love this. Okay. All right. My next thing is, how do you know that you're achieving your goals? These brilliant goals that you're setting. How do you know?
I hold goes with an open hand, quite honestly. And when I say that is the achieving goals now is more of in the doing than in the outcome. So when I am doing the things, or when we are delivering the experience, I want to just find, like, the goal for me is to find joy in them finding joy in what they're doing. But the feedback, like just even the looks on the faces, like I was thinking there was a group of ladies who on the first night they kind of were in the background, just kind of chilling to themselves. And by the last day, they were linked arms with other ladies who look completely different from them, and they're all laughing and dancing and hugging and wiping tears. And I'm like, yep, we did it. Right? Because you can see just the layers being peeled back. But in order to get there for me, I have to just kind of be open-handed with it to say, okay, I'm faith-based. Like, God, this is yours. are giving me an opportunity to steward it right now. So
Hmm.
me taking the pressure off of looking for a particular thing, but we just want to deliver what he's calling us to deliver in excellence. That's how I know it's working, because I know that we're planting seeds that I may not see bloom by the end of the event, but I know that they're blooming. But just in, there are sometimes that we do get to see things blooming and people walking up to you and aha moments and the tears and the laughter and the so yeah, there are so many different ways to say, okay, I think we're here. I think we got it.
Yeah. I wasn't planning to go here, but I want to ask, and we can cut this if you don't want to talk about it. I think we'll see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
But one of the things I am curious about is because I have some clients that this has been something where they felt called but haven't felt comfortable answering the call. And so I'm curious for you, because you do lean in so heavily, like you said, you're faith based, and a
Yep.
lot of, the music that you were playing at the event, which I loved, right, was a lot of like gospel, just really beautiful. There was scripture that was read. Um, how did and when did you start leaning into that piece for you? Because that feels very much who you are. Has
Yeah.
that always been? I don't know this about you.
So it always has been who I am, but I was not always willing to be as forward facing with it, for many reasons that I would assume that a lot of other people, like, I don't know, I don't want to offend, right? I
Mhm.
didn't want backlash. And then also, just as a believer, I didn't want to misrepresent the gospel. I
Yeah.
remember telling our mutual coach, like, I don't want to be one of those people out here pimping Jesus, just to get sales, just to get people in the door in my program. But it would be so disingenuous for me to coach anybody on anything without bringing in the fact, but it be for the grace of God who has been on my side, and I have seen a lot of shifts in confidence and things like this in my own life once I started and I surrendered to him. Yeah, like, I would be lying, right? I would be lying. So I did have to come to a place, and life has a way of doing this. I don't know if you know this part of my story, Nikki, but I have lost six siblings. In 2021 alone, my sister passed away and my mother passed away. And something about death, and a lot of death, it really brings into light what's really important about life.
Mm.
And for me, I can have every accolade, I can sell every house, I can coach every student. But if the work that I did on this side of heaven didn't lead somebody else to eternal life, then it's all for nothing. So there was a crossroads where I had to decide, okay, God, am I going to be all in on what you're calling me to do? Because if I wasn't, then there would not be Real Estate Bestie.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. And I didn't know that part of your story. I knew that you'd lost your mom. Actually, I chatted a little bit with one of your best friends about that. We had
Yeah.
a nice conversation. But so I didn't know about the siblings too, and that's a lot. But
Yeah.
good to know that from that, it allowed you to really lean into what feels very much who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like who are you? And being willing to stand in that, even if it offends, but also being aware of like it isn't about using it to sell something. It's
Yep.
just this is me.
Yeah, and my intention isn't to offend. Like,
Right,
that's
right.
one thing that I had to unpack with our coach. She said, it's one thing if you're like, okay, I'm about to piss people off talking about Jesus. Like,
Mm,
no, I don't intend,
no.
if I think about it like, and I had to like really rationalize it to myself. If someone doesn't like, I don't like avocado, don't shoot me, people.
You know what? I don't like avocado either. And
Hey, so
it's
we're
hard to say
friends.
out loud, isn't it?
Yes, because like that's almost tougher to pass than your what you believe.
That's
But
true.
if someone offers me a California club with avocado, I don't think they're looking to offend me. Maybe
No.
they just love it that much
Yeah.
that they just automatically assume. So even when we were promoting Real Estate Bestie, the experience, I said, because the question did come up, well, what if I'm not a believer? What if I said, hey, we're not going to force you to believe anything, right? But I invite you, if you're curious, just come and be curious. And if you
Mm,
leave and you're still, in the same space, then that's fine. So I think it's in the way that you present it. offering the gift, and if someone wants to take me up on it, then that's fine. But I'm not going to not give away the best thing that's ever happened to me because we may disagree on
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And for sharing the avocado.
it.
This'll maybe give you a one up for me because here's the other one that people like are in shock when I tell them that I also don't drink coffee.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I know
I
people are
can
like,
drink
I don't know if we
coffee.
can be friends.
Yeah, I can drink coffee. Well, here's one for me. I don't prefer chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll eat it, but it's not my preference. I prefer gummy candy. So, since we're
Okay.
shaking it all up over here.
Yeah, we are shaking it. I love that you shared that. Okay. All right. So we were talking about goals and your very specific goals. And that, so my next question about goals is how do you know you're achieving? Maybe I asked you that. How do
Yeah,
you know you're achieving your goals? And then what do you actually do to reach the goal? Like what are some of your strategic steps in that? Because I know that there was a lot of intention put
yeah.
into this event.
So I think like if I have to say like what a huge goal is and a strategic step, a lot of the attendees that attend our events, they have never invested in themselves and their own personal or professional development. So probably my number one goal is like for her to walk away with like, hey, I was worth this investment. And I want to plant that seed of what does it look like to continue in investing in myself? Because when I invest in myself, then I'm only going to be better for those people that I serve, right? So, we get to see that like with the people who join our coaching program.
Mhm.
But even if they don't join our coaching program, and I'm very, like, I will say this from stage, from this day forward, you don't get to not invest in yourself. If this one isn't the one that is a great fit for you, fine. But you have to find what is the fit for you because you're worth it. So when I see, it's so interesting after the event, I'm seeing people posting more, being more
Mhm.
vocal on social media. They're in our Facebook group sharing, I had the courage to have these conversations, like taking that first step to get out of their way. That's how we can tell that the strategy has worked, because I think that the number one shift for majority of the women that we're serving at this stage is we had to convince them that they were worth getting in the room.
Yeah.
Because it's not a cheap ticket. Now,
Right.
the ticket didn't even begin to cover what it costs to put it on.
I
But
can only imagine because it was phenomenal. I was like, dang.
but just, getting that like that mindset shift of, hmm, I'm worth it. I'm worth it.
Mhm.
I'm worth it. And that's why we wanted to deliver just an exceptional experience, because we want, that person to know that they are worth feeling pampered and celebrated and having fun, but learning all the things in there. So,
Mhm. And I heard that from I had some really wonderful conversations with some of the attendees and them sharing that they had never invested in coaching before. You were the first coach they'd ever invested in, and this was their first live event and things like that. And that to me, again, the fact that you're so clear of who this was for and that you were attracting those people as somebody who learned to invest in myself really kind of at an early age, but definitely in my 30s, like I really went
mhm.
in with it and saw some pretty significant changes in my life as a result.
Yep.
I think it's one of the things that really helped my business get off the ground when I first started my business. Whereas most people are like, you haven't even made any money yet. And I was like,
Yeah.
and I need a coach.
Yep.
Like, I hired a
To
coach
get that,
right from the
you
get go.
understood it.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
do understand what it means not to spend money on a coach, to invest in myself, to get a coach who can teach me something and coach me and walk me through something that they have already achieved, exceeded at. Like that I'm such a believer in investment. But it's a hard thing to get people on board. Was there anything in particular that you did or language that you used or anything that you're willing to share around that to help them start to look at it from it's not about spending the money, it's about investing in you.
Yeah. So definitely lots of language like with our podcast, because I think that there are a lot of people. I can think of some of the women who were at the event that didn't come the year before because they yet made that shift, right?
Hmm.
So we have weaved that in our messaging about the importance of girlfriend, godfriend, guide, and all of the different layers that I have personally unlocked in my life when I made that shift to understanding coaching and sharing the stories from the besties as well. And often, we have also done just a lot of things where it just wasn't putting out a flyer for an event and they come. A lot of these ladies have like made a small investment, like investing in we do a preview week of our coaching program, or they've done the Bible study with us, which is no cost, but they get to come. When I launched my Real Estate Bestie devotional book, one of the things that we did was a 40-day live in our Facebook group, which was free to walk through the devotional together. And we continually talked about like how we are gifts and how we steward our resources well and things like that. So I just think that that has been woven into the messaging because I did not realize until I got into real estate. I got into investing in myself. I'm probably only 5 years in, Nikki.
Okay.
I remember the first time my husband and I were going to a goal setting deal, and the people wanted like $30. And I was like, no, I'm not paying $30. I was like, no, I'm not, because I looked at it as a cost,
Yeah.
it paying them money.
Hmm.
And I remember even when I've made the largest investment, I had to wrestle with God in my own coaching because I was like, no, it isn't about her. It's about me.
Hmm.
And am I going to be worth it? And when I make this investment, am I going to do something now with it to
Hmm.
see the return on the investment? So I weave in my stories all the time and share the stories and successes, not just monetary, because like I know, of course, we want to invest in these things to get financial gain, but what you get in terms of confidence and relationships. Like if I would not have invested in the coach that we had, I wouldn't know you.
Same.
You know what I
Exactly. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you're going to meet a different quality individual. I tell
Hmm.
the besties this all the time. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking some of the free trainings that you can go to with your brokerage, but I sure would rather meet the person who got on the plane and spent $700 for the ticket than the one who's chasing the free pizza at the title companies. It's going to be a total different caliber of person for me to collaborate with.
Yep.
And we just continually weave that into a lot of our messaging, but not just at the event or when the event is coming up. It's just woven throughout.
Yeah. I love that you shared that too, because I feel that really strongly. And, I got to a place where I, when I was doing a lot of networking locally, like I just stopped going to events where it was just free, right?
Yeah,
Like if I didn't have to pay for a ticket, I wasn't interested in being in the room because I found that it does attract
a different.
people. Yeah, it's just a very different mindset. But when you go and be in a room with people who have made investments in themselves, you get a very different, you get to surround yourself with very different people. And, with the coach that you and and I'm just going to say who it is because I love her so much and I want to give her credit, is Liz Harkey.
Yep.
And Liz, the very first year when I invested in her program, that is probably one of the biggest coaching investments that I've made. I think it is. But I also knew that it wasn't about her. It really was about me and the people that I met. And I said to her, like, one of the reasons I'm investing in your program is because I feel like I'm going to be the poor, dumb one in the room.
Mm.
Like, I never want to be the most successful person in the room if I'm investing.
Right,
Like, I
right.
want to be the one who is going to stretch herself and is going to feel uncomfortable around these people that have reached and attained a higher level than I have, because that will stretch me, that will help me grow. And, I've invested in many, many coaching programs over the years. And I will say, I've always walked away with something incredibly valuable. And sometimes it's just the relationships with the other people who
Exactly.
are there.
Yeah. I share that with the besties too. I'm like, even events like that I didn't particularly care for the programming or things of that nature, I've
Yep.
always won
Yeah.
because it may not have been the programming, but it may have been the lady that I was standing behind the line at Starbucks, and we struck up a conversation. And now, 3 months later, she walked me through this short sale process, and I was able to, all of these different things. So
Yep.
I completely, completely agree with that. And a good portion of my demographic, I have to get them across that imaginary bridge of number one, investing in themselves. And then number two, something you just said, like being okay with being the one in the room who's not the know-it-all. Being the one, and like obviously speaking, I'm a Black woman. I attract a lot of Black women. So there is something like a badge to being that strong Black woman. You know, it's almost like we don't have the luxury of not being competent in every area.
Mm.
So even giving the freedom to say you don't have to know it all, but get in the room where the information is being shared. So yeah, it's a lot there.
There's a lot of mindset stuff that
Yeah,
goes into it. I mean,
yeah,
anytime you're making an investment in yourself, there's going to be mindset stuff, and we
yeah.
all bring our, and you've got your
Jump.
stuff, right?
Yep.
Like, I
Yeah, I bring
love
that
that.
jump.
I love that you're sharing that. Thank you. Okay, so here is kind of here's just a question. I always try to not assign value to these questions. How do you know when to stop when you're thinking about designing your experience to keep clients coming back? When do you get to the place where you're like, okay, I've done it. I've done it. It's done.
This is a great question, Nikki.
Okay, good.
Especially when people are like, I can't wait for next year. I'm like, for real?
I haven't even celebrated this year, right? Like,
Right. Or even, like people that didn't come, oh, well, I'm definitely going to be there next year. And I was like, well, I love your confidence. And the Lord had to check me on this because I think there was a point where, when you're putting on an event, there are just so many moving pieces and it can feel overwhelming. I think initially I was just like, this is too much work. But for what he did in that room, I would do the work 100 times over. But to be honest, I want to move in the way that he's telling me to move. And you know, I so right now I'm in tune with what God is saying because if he is calling us to do it again, I already have ideas of what we would do differently
mm-hmm,
or how we would shift the messaging a little bit. And maybe not the messaging, who is for it. Like, long story short, I think that next year it would have to be the experience. I have so many women in my inbox who are not real estate specific,
mm-hmm,
who are like, where is this for us? And there is a need for this for women in business in general. Now, how I would make that shift, I have no idea, but I do know that that might be a necessary shift God will call us to make. But I'm literally listening for him. Like, is this
mm-hmm.
something we need to do? Is this a season where you want me to not host an event, but go and speak and reach other people's audiences at this time? I don't know. But also I'm holding it with an open hand, which is why I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because Rosemary, I can show the qualities of an achiever on an Enneagram 3. So like before I would just want to beat myself, beat myself, beat myself. I don't have that pressure right now, but I just want to be obedient to what he's telling me to do next. So I love that I don't have that pressure,
Mm.
but I also am a little bit in not limbo because I'm still coming down from the event, but
Yeah.
I'm just open. I'm open to see what would happen. So I think that would be the way that I would answer it is for me, because this was God's thing. I was just the one who got to steward it. I'm gonna wait for him to give me direction. He gave me clear direction the past couple years. I don't have clear direction on what he wants to do next yet, and I'm not gonna move until I do.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate that you're allowing yourself to be in that space, that you don't always have to have the, okay, next year, here's your
Oh
tickets.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Okay. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for all you shared. I always like to wrap up with the what I call the little something extra. So this is just kind of for you to share anything that comes to mind here. But one of the questions that I love to ask people is what's something that's bringing you joy right now?
Oh, what's bringing me joy? My family, my husband and my two boys. You
Beautiful
know,
family, by the way. It was so
thank
nice
you.
to see them at your event.
Yes, yes, they really are like, well, I'm in a season. I was a mom very young, so although I'm 45, I have a 25-year-old son. So, just to see him in that adulthood, then I have a 13-year-old. So yesterday was well, he's not 13 anymore. He turned 14 yesterday. So my 14-year-old, like we just had an uninterrupted family day. And I appreciate that because you and your listeners probably know that sometimes we can be so business minded that we can hustle past provision and hustle past what we're working for. So there have just been some things in life recently that have just shown me that, you know what, I am living the answered prayers and the time that I get to spend with my husband and my son. I know it sounds very cliche, but that like literally is where I'm at. That brings me a lot of joy. And the besties bring me joy. I love, 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 love coaching. I love helping women get unstuck so that they can bear more fruit with their lives.
Mhm.
If I could do that from sun up to sundown, I would. And that brings me a whole lot of joy.
Yeah, and it's so obvious. I love you shared a story on stage about it was a really like impactful story, but there was something really special about it. It was this idea that I think you say is it every Friday that you go and get donuts?
Oh, every Wednesday, Donut Wednesday
Wednesday,
with my
sorry.
son.
Donut Wednesday.
Donut Wednesday, yep.
But just like the story that you shared was really relevant to the topic that you were talking about, right? And like, but the thing that really struck me is like she is making intentional time in her day to spend with her son.
Yeah.
And it's Donut Wednesday. I don't know why I thought Friday, because maybe
Yeah.
because I think when's Friday, I want a donut. But
And see, and we switched it. Like most kids wait till Friday, but I needed to give my son some encouragement to make it through the week. So,
so it's
so
Wednesday.
I take him to donuts on Wednesday. His dad takes him to 7-Eleven on Friday.
I didn't know the 7-Eleven story. That's so great. Okay. What is something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Surprised to learn about. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur.
Really?
I thought that I would be a school teacher like forever. Like the life that I get to live now, it was nowhere near in my cards. I did not see it for myself. If my 10-year ago version of myself could see me today, she would probably stroke all the way out. She would. She would she would like hyperventilate.
I love that. And yet you are such an incredible entrepreneur, such an
Oh, thank you.
incredible businesswoman and professional. And wow, I love that. Okay. What is something exciting going on in your business right now? I know we've been talking a lot about it, but
Yeah, uncertainty.
uncertainty.
Yeah, like what I am pulling myself, so I am transitioning in my real estate business. I am taking the leap and becoming my future self now, pulling myself out of what we call day-to-day production and really coaching my team so that they are servicing our real estate clients so that I can step into my next, what God has for me. And I really
Mhm.
don't know what that looks like, right? Like
Yeah,
I know how to set goals and financial markers and all of this around real estate. I don't know how to call it with what I'm stepping into, but I'm also not worried about it.
that's good.
Yeah. So,
That to me, like that speaks to your faith, right?
yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's like if you're in fear, that's not faith. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
So I'm
faith there.
excited. I'm excited
Yeah.
about the unknown.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. How can people listening connect with you? What's the best way?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So I am like, well, of course, the stuffy way is email. You can hit me up at Rosemary at Rosemary Lewis or probably support because my right hand's gonna check that a little bit better than me.
Kimberly's amazing. So
Yes.
yeah.
But also on Instagram, the real estate bestie, I am often in the DMs there. So yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
place to find me.
And she's so amazing. I think everybody should know you and know about you. And yeah, the selfish part of me wants you to just do a bestie experience so that everybody can come and isn't so focused on real estate. But I also know as a sales coach, that might not be the best advice. So
Yeah.
whatever you decide to do and whatever you're called to next, like people will be blessed as a result of getting to engage with you. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful you said yes. I really appreciate you sharing the idea of like, really, what does it take to create an experience that feels so client focused that, of course, people are going to want to show up and participate and come back again and again. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And for you, the listener, thank you for listening. I hope you had some good takeaways from what Rosemary had shared today. Think about, what is it like for the person who is showing up and having that experience with you? What were the things that she had to do, or he had to do, to get there, to be in that room with you, or spend that time with you? And what are their fears, and what can you do to make that experience better? And I think you will find that your relationships, your rapport, and your return rate will go up. Everything will get better. So thanks for listening. As always, have a great rest of your day.